Hey everyone, I want to welcome you to Hutcast. Hutcast is a pragmatic approach to several things that happen in life and happen around us. So tune in, check us out. If you like us, give us a thumbs up to Hutcast. In this episode of Hutcast, we're going to talk about the gun show loophole. As I described to you before in the last episode, I'm going to go undercover into a gun show and try and buy a gun without a permit to carry or a purchase to acquire. Yeah, I got some really good news on that one. Next, we're going to talk about the mask mandate. Our show is very limited on how much we can pre-record and then release on a certain date because of the sensitivity of the timing. Mask mandates, let's have a conversation. Stay tuned for Hutcast. We'll be right back. Now a word from our sponsors. Today's sponsor in part by Excel Roofing. Excel Roofing, they do it all. Roofs, siding, framing. You need a house? Give Excel a call. I've used these guys personally in the past, have a professional crew. They're conscious of your job, and they want to produce the finest quality of craftsmanship available. Excel Roofing, 763-712-0757. Again, 763-712-0757. Excel Roofing, Dayton, Minnesota. Welcome back to Hutcast. I wanted to describe to you what we went through to get this undercover audio. A couple of episodes ago, we talked about the gun show loophole and how easy it is that the H.R. 8, H.R. 9 red flag laws are to tell everybody, again the media, how easy this is to just go in and buy a gun. Well, I didn't believe a lot of it. Maybe it was because I was naive. Maybe it's because, I'm a dealer and we follow the rules. However, I want you to hear firsthand what I went through. Now, in my area, there was a gun show, a pretty good sized one, I might say, from a company that I tried to get a hold of in the past and asked them outright, do you allow any FFL, any dealer, a 3, a 7, a 5, a 10, or whatever it is, category, to sell guns without going through the registration process? His answer led me to believe no, but he wanted to tell me the truth, and by him not saying what he said, told me, yeah, there's something going on here. And you know what? I'm not a big damn supporter of shutting down the 2A because I am a 2A guy. But I had to find out for myself. I had to go in there and say, okay, let's see what's going on. It was close enough to my residence. I was able to get in, pay my $7, and I snooped around for these special deals. I don't know if any of you have been to a gun show, but it's pretty chaotic. They're selling everything from war gear. They're selling old school military equipment as far as shirts, pants, leftovers, all the miscellaneous surplus that you would get from a type of a store like that. But they bring it to you. And there are some pretty darn good vendors at these shows. You try to go in there and not spend nothing and maybe find a deal, but in a pandemic riot and in a situation such as our government, you don't find deals. You find equipment. You find product. When you get into a show, you see these guys walking around. These guys have this flag on. They don't want to buy a table, so what they're doing is circumventing the system by selling reloaded ammunition, products, pieces, parts. Hey, ask me about this thing. They carry a sign like you would see in the 20s. We'll work for food. We'll do anything for money. And these people, they had signs on their backs. And you're kind of looking at yourself going, really? Is this how far we've come as a society to where they're just don't want to pay the money to get in the table, or they want to walk around and start whoring out a sale? Well, those guys speak for themselves. But I was able to ask a couple of them, hey, you're reloading, you're remanufacturing ammunition, and that requires an FFL, Federal Firearms Licensed. Every one of them says, well, I know a guy with an FFL, so I'm just doing this on the side. Well, you can't just do it on the side. Again, I am in no way bringing down the Second Amendment or the people that shoot these guns or fire these guns or whatever they want to do with them. I'm not that guy. But I am kind of the guy who says we shouldn't be putting guns in hands of people that shouldn't have them, i.e., that's what the system's for. Now, given that, the system is in place for any good law-abiding FFL to not put guns in the hands of people who are compromised mentally. They're just not there for that type of reason. And these ammo guys, these gun guys, weren't quite completely honest with what they were selling. Well, I sell it for a guy who has an FFL. Doesn't mean you can show up at a show and start pumping goods, especially the show coordinators. If you haven't paid your money to have a table, well, what are you doing selling there? So that leaves a little bit of underhandedness, which I don't agree with, but that's what they do, and they don't shut them off. If I was the event coordinator, I'd turn that off in a heartbeat. But hey, it's free America. Next, we're going to talk about the guy who actually had a table, and in front of this table, he had this carousel of guns, this case full of weapons under glass, and they were pretty reasonable, current event hardware stuff. So it was not like it was a, 1950s rat crap, and then you want to buy those old stuff, and not like what you see in the movies. It's not at all. He had M&Ps, he had SIGs, he had Glocks, you name it. He had it under this glass, and under this glass it said private sale. So private sale, I was curious. I went to this guy and I says, hey, I see you have these here. This means private sale. But I showed him my credentials to begin with, and maybe I shouldn't have done that. And you'll hear that in the tape. But when you say private sale, he saw my FFL license and he says, hey, well, no problem. We can do business. It's not a thing. Come on in. And I went, well, yeah, I know I can do business because, I went through the headache and paperwork to get an FFL. But what I'm really curious about is it says here private sale. And he went on to tell me, now again, I'm setting you up for the video or for the audio here. And he went on to tell me, well, I can sell these privately. So I thought to myself, the law is pretty clear when it says if you go out of your way to sell these products at every show, you are now doing it in the trade of commerce. Well, that means that you are selling this. You're not just selling your private stock, you're selling this. So there's a whole lot of gray in this law. And it's not gray on the Fed side, it's gray at the vendor side. So he says, I only sell it to people who have a card, a carry or an acquire. But if you are not going to run his 1753 and see if he does have a prior or if the card is no good or whatever it might be, why would you sell it to him? I only sell it to people who have carry cards. That doesn't even make sense to me. If you're going to do that, why don't you do it for real? And leave yourself of some responsibility if this guy goes out and shoots up a school or whatever these people, these maniacs do. I am just on this edge of, come on, dude. You know better than this. And he was a nice enough guy. I'm not going to say any names. And I grabbed his card and I thought, hey, if this is the loophole they're talking about, and this guy particularly said, I'm not selling you unless you have a carry, why have a private sale at all? Because as FFLs, your private inventory, and you're at a table, an event that requires an FFL, what's going on here? So can these people say, well, I can just walk into any gun show and do this, or I can buy this online and buy any gun? And no, you really can't, but in a little bit way you can. The problem here is not we need more laws. We could use a whole crap load of laws left. We don't need the laws. We need the laws we have enforced. And again, don't get me mistaken with I'm on the Dem side of this, because I am absolutely not. But I am on the side of common sense And this common sense says to me, this ain't even making sense to me. We shouldn't be selling, dealers shouldn't be selling private inventory like having 2 sets of books at a gun show so they can get around this 1753. He didn't even have an access to run an NICS check at the show. Most people do. They have a little computer, they have a little phone call in, whatever their vehicle is for making this happen, they did. However, this guy was just a single guy pumping his goods and not even having any way to connect. I saw no 1753s. I saw no Form 4s, Form 7s. I saw absolutely nothing of this guy. And where is our ATF at this point? Where are they? If they know this is going on, why aren't they enforcing these laws? Well, if we go back to what the event coordinator said, will they do it in strict compliance with the law? That ain't compliance with the law. He just wants to sell a table. And should he care? Should the event coordinator say, I'm going to police this? Well, this is one. If you're wondering why we get a black eye, here it is. And I say we as the gun-toting people of the world. I don't know. So what I'm going to do at this point is, we are about 9 minutes and 50 seconds into this. I am going to take a break, and I'm going to come back with the audio. I'm going to come back with the audio that I just set you up for, and you guys can listen to this and make up your own mind. So stand by. We'll be back in just a moment. I'd like to talk to you today about security, home security, business security. We here at ProTech Security care about your safety. We've been keeping honest people honest, we like to say, and give dishonest people something to think about for over 20 years. Not only provide high-tech security systems for your home and business, we also provide basic network and router management LAN and Wi-Fi for our residential customers. Support audio and video monitoring systems, card access, security systems, cellular phone amplifiers, home entertainment systems, and much, much more. We have experienced technicians that will design a system that will work for you. We are located in Osseo, Minnesota, and are waiting to design a system to meet all your specifications. That's right, ProTech Security. Give us a call, 763-493-2020. We are pro at keeping honest people honest. ProTech Security, 763-493-2020. ProTech Security Systems. Okay, well, welcome back to Hutcast. Second segment of this show. I'm going to start this out with the recording that I have set you up in the last segment. Now, kind of hard to hear. Remember, there's no video or the pictures inside a gun show. For some reason, they don't seem to like to have that PR, and I get it, because there's a lot of cancel culture out there. If you hit some of my past podcasts, you'll understand a little more about cancel culture, and I think those guys are a bunch of buffoons as well. However, I have secured this audio. It didn't say nothing about making any audio tracks in this event. Stand by. I'm going to play this for you now.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, folks. How's it going?
Hi. You don't need any of these for this, do you? This is my license. I'm an FFL. Is this private transfer?
If you're a dealer, yeah, we can deal. I just try to write down everything on a bill of sale that I can.
Oh, because it says private sale.
Yeah, you're a dealer, so you're covered. Otherwise, I'd want to see a permit. But I write down everything on a bill of sale.
Yeah. Because that looks pretty nice.
Well, you can beat the price, but I am a little higher. I don't try to step on the dealers.
Right. Do you hear every week or every show for Crocodile?
I do a lot of them, yeah.
All right. All right, I'll be back on that.
All right.
Thank you. Yeah. You heard it. You heard it for yourself. Now again, I'm not out there to chew in these guys' behinds. I don't, I'm pro Second Amendment. And I walked into this with 0 to none expectations that this is actually happening. Now, again, maybe we're talking my naiveness. I don't know. But let's break this down what this guy said. He likes to have a bill of sale. He writes this down. He puts it on a bill of sale. So your bill of sale is not a 1753. Your bill of sale wants to see if you have a carry card, see if you have a license. And what's your bill of sale going to do? So you're going to sell to anybody who's got a card and a bill of sale. Hold on here now. I don't agree with that. That's not a thing. I don't even know if this guy was a dealer. Because let's go through the rest of this here. He's got to see a permit. Well, if you got to see a permit and you're not writing it down, what do you care if they got a permit? Again, not making sense to me. I have a dealer's license. You heard me say it. He says, well, you got a license, we can deal. Well, if I acquire a gun, I need a copy of someone's license. If I dispatch a gun or disperse a gun, I have to have a copy of someone's license where it's going to. So at what point do I get dragged into this crap where it says, well, you now are going to sell me this gun, but I don't need a copy of your license. I just need, give them mine. Nope, not playing that game. Okay, so writes it down on a bill of sale. You got to see a permit. He'll work with the dealer's license. Now, another thing he said is you can beat the price. Now, you're at a gun show where there's 100 other vendors. They're, again, selling everything from World War II clothes to batons to stun guns to whatever. I mean, it's a zoo of show. You can beat the price. Because why? He don't want to step on the dealers. Well, there's a reason for that. If he is not going to tell you that he's not a dealer, he don't want to step on the dealers, he don't want to step on himself, or because he's actually not a dealer? I'm thinking B, he's actually not a dealer. So he don't want to get the dealers mad, so he's going to sell a little higher than everybody else, and if you want to pay the number, well, then he's your guy. Okay. Again, there's still laws on that. And let's go to the most important one, which is the defining law of in commerce for the FFLs, the ATF. He's at most all events. You heard him say it. Yeah, I do a lot of these. Well, then that shows, according to the law, that you're going out of your way to sell firearms through this loophole. You are now in commerce to sell weapons. I'm a dealer. I'm an FFL. I don't go to gun shows and sell. And if he talks about we can deal, what are we going to deal on? My license and you're not licensed? Oh, boy, I'll tell you what. Again, maybe it's my naiveness that to think that everybody's following the law and everybody's doing the right thing, and I don't know if I believe in it. So when the Dems go out there and throw these H.R. 8, H.R. 9, the 80% rule, the can't have weapons of war by our Biden president, and here we are listening to this crap constantly, they're not even close to what's really going on. They don't have a clue because they're not gun guys. Because they're not gun guys. And they don't engage, they don't shoot, they're not a fan of the sport. And that's okay. But how can you sit there and judge and make laws based upon information you do not have about this sport? I don't know. I'm in awe. First of all, I'm embarrassed for the people who do have the proxy to do it right. And again, I wasn't out picking on this guy. He was just a guy. He was an opportunity. I saw it. I seen him do his thing. He's the one that advertised it. He put himself in that position, and therefore I'm just merely reporting on what I've found firsthand. And you guys heard the tape. Play it back, listen to it again. Make sure it makes sense to you, and make sure I'm just not all wet here, because maybe I am. Maybe I could be like totally wrong. However, I don't believe I'm in the wrong side of this. Now, when this gets out, there's going to be a lot of gun guys that I know, then they're going to say, you prick. You son of a gun, why would you do that? Why would you help them do anything? Them being the Democrats and the people who want to put these laws in place to help them hurt us. I'm not hurting you guys. If you look at the long show here, this end game, we need to protect ourselves. And for these people to do what they're doing, it just kind of seems not right to me. And you should know that. You should know that I'm saying this to protect our sport, to protect our industry, to protect the people who do it the right way. Now, your short-sightedness of saying, hey, I can sell this guy a table, it's his right to do this, he's following the law. No, listen to the tape. Listen to what I heard firsthand. You are all on the same page as this. And does it make sense to you? Again, back it up, listen to it. Okay. We're about 8 minutes into this. We got to pull another commercial on this. I wanted you to hear this firsthand. Again, the show is based on inspiring, educating, entertaining, and just out and outright, this is how I see it. Again, it might be different in the rest of the world, but I see it this way, and I do not agree with how these guys are just setting this up. Now, if he was there at a show, again, as the law shows, if he wants to take his personal inventory and put it out there for sale, and he does this once a year, twice a year, whatever he does, don't care. The government should not be involved in that. It's not their products. It's not their free to sell his equipment. But that clearly wasn't the case in this video, in this audio. He frequents the shows. He goes out of his way. He buys inventory to sell privately. Again, I'm not saying names, and I'm not going to put nothing out there, but he doesn't sound like a dealer. But he certainly wanted to use my license. And at that point, I'm going, see you later, Gator. Not going to engage in this. Okay. Taking this break. We're about 9:30, 9:40 into the second segment. And then we're going to do the little conversation about the masks. We're about to be let up as a state. Sir Waltz is going to tell everybody that, now it's kind of safe to relieve the masks. And again, I've got my own opinion on that, and so will you. Coming up shortly. See you in a bit.
For home and workplace comfort, we here at Dependable Heating and Air Conditioning have over 30 years of residential and commercial experience in replacing, repairing, and doing general maintenance on your heating and cooling equipment. Call the experts at Dependable Heating and Air Conditioning. For all your indoor comfort needs, we are located in Coon Rapids and serve the entire Twin Cities area. Call one of our professional technicians today at 763-757-5040. That's Dependable Heating and Cooling. Again, 763-757-5040, Dependable Heating and Air.
Welcome back to the show. How'd you like that last segment? That was quite an eye-opener, wasn't it? Okay, we're going to move on to the Waltz mask mandate of Minnesota. I understand there's a lot of people out there that believe in that, and it is certainly their right. But I got a question for a lot of people out there that are listening to my show. And again, we're in 40 countries. We've got over 40-some thousand downloads. We're not your kind of guy in a basement doing a show. So here's the question for you guys who just kind of whatever and listen to what you think you want to listen to. If you get a shot and I don't, am I protecting you? Does your shot protect you or does your shot protect me? And vice versa. So if I get a shot and you didn't get one, are you at any more risk because I don't wear a mask? Think about that. Just kind of put your head around this whole thing. If half the people are inoculated, do the other half have a problem with getting sick? Now, again, COVID-19 is no joke, and there's a lot of people out there that have said both directions of this. I mean, they're pro or they're not pro of this mask thing. But think about the ramifications of the whole blah thing of this. If two people get a shot, do they both need to wear a mask? What are we using? Common Core math here to put masks on people? Because I'm actually dumber for trying to figure this out. And this ain't on me. This is on my wife says, think about what we're not doing here and what we're doing. And it made sense. I'm like, yeah. So is your mask gonna protect him, and is him gonna protect you with his mask? I don't even know the answer to this one. But you can sure trigger the open-toe sandal, not wearing, these guys who wear knots in their head, hemp T-shirt, got a Biden sticker, the whole thing. These guys, you can trigger them in a heartbeat if you walk into anywhere and you don't have a mask on. I.e., for instance, we went down to a local casino. Wanted to have some fun, kick back, relax. Waltz had just loosened up the restrictions on some of the dining establishments, etc. I walk in. He's behind his glass. He wants to take my money to what I was there for. And just short of this bun man wearing shit, here is this guy with total attitude. It says, didn't see the sign? Saw the sign, didn't care. You got to have a mask in here. So his partner reaches behind the counter and grabs a mask for me. And at this point, do I fight him on it and say, you kiss my behind because I'm not going to do this? Or do I just put the mask on and go about my business? Well, I picked B on that, and I grabbed the mask and put it on. But if this guy was triggered because I didn't wear a mask, and I says, look, well, let's let these up. We are on a reservation. We are a sovereign nation. We are not a Minnesota. And until I hear it from the tribal council, we're still wearing masks. Wow. Now you got Waltz, who says we have to wear a mask, but this guy's tribal council, the authority of his day, who's going to follow the Waltz thing, who didn't follow the Waltz. I don't even know how to put this together. So think about that when you walk into a store and you see some snot nose who obviously needs to be, throttled a couple times, and just ask him and say, really, are you this intense? Or do you just really get off on rousting people who maybe I had the shot, he didn't even ask. Maybe I can't breathe through it, didn't care. You have to have a mask. I don't know. I had to think about that one for a little bit. Didn't ruin my weekend or nothing like that. He can't steal that power from me. But I gave me some information to pass along to you guys. I thought, man, this will be good for the show. Because I'm absolutely dumber for participating in this guy's illusion. I don't like to be dumber. I'd like to be informed. So when Waltz lets this up, he wants this big by the 4th thing. And really, is he really going to monopolize on the 4th of July, the freedom of the 4th of July, so we can upload our masks and get rid of them? I don't even wear a mask 99% of the time anyway. And you're going to, hey, now you can spout to all these Dems out there. We've got the freedom to do this. Again, back to the beginning of this segment. You both had shots. Or one of you had shots. Or the two that didn't have shots, will they get sick from each other? Really, who cares? Again, guys, I don't get it. I can't think like this. You shake your head and go, okay, and the wife was right. Which one of these guys are going to be protecting each other? If you had a shot, do you need a mask? If you don't have a shot, why don't you need the mask? So now you're a carrier again? Did it magically turn back on? Did it reset? Now you have to go and do this? Yep, I think we're all dumber for being part of this. And the people who drink that Kool-Aid really, really believe in their heart that they're saving somebody by wearing a mask, and can be saved if you wear a mask when you walk into a room. Never mind, they've had their shots and they've had their rabies shot and they do whatever they do, and you're like, come on, guys. What did we do 2 years ago? What did we do a year and a half ago? We walked into a room without a mask and nobody freaked out. That's what we did. And you say, well, there was no COVID-19 then. There's been COVID around for a long time. It just never got out of control. We never had a flu season this year. What happened to that? I don't know anybody with the flu. And if they did get the flu, they passed away from it. Well, shit, they didn't pass away. They were compromised. Their system was down. Anything would have triggered that. But Magically Delicious, the 19 can make that happen. And we can capitalize on that, and we can put the sheep back in their pen. Mark my words, people. The 4th of July, he wants to lift it by the 1st so we can have an independence. And he in Waltz is in Minnesota, is going to use this against you. You did your part. You did this. I don't know. Sometimes I got to watch him just so I can watch the girl in the background do her talking with her hands. I mean, it's absolutely funny as heck. And she's back there doing these faces with the, do you do faces when you do this hand talking? Because if she does, she gets a nomination for an Emmy on that deal. She's fantastic, and I can't stand to listen to him, but I love watching her do her thing. And I'm going to use a her, and I'm assuming she's a her. And if you don't like that she's a her or a GBT or whatever, I don't care. She did a wonderful job of making me pay attention to her and not listen to him. So you guys have been awesome. I really appreciate the feedback on the website's awesome. And again, we website only on Facebook. We do not have official web space direct www. So if you want to hit me, the show notes will be up there. Be vigilant, people. Pay attention to what's going on around you. Engage. If you're conservative, engage. If you're a Democrat, pay attention. You can engage as well. Just don't you take it to the next level. Talk. Get used to somebody else's perspective, their opinion. It's a simple gig. And the more we can talk, the more we can do stuff, the more we can figure stuff out and try and get through this crap sandwich. For Hutcast, I'm signing off. We're about 9 minutes and 10 seconds into this third segment, the masks. Again, thanks everybody. You have a wonderful evening. And that's a wrap for Hutcast. Hutcast is, again, a pragmatic approach to seeing things how some people see them. If you like our show, give us a thumbs up on the Facebook site. Again, for Hutcast, thank you again. Have a wonderful evening.